We're going to be introducing Jud Eads. Now, Jud has a colorful background. He comes from a history. Tell me one more time, Jud. You are a former professional skier.
I got into this crazy business. Yeah, I made a living climbing mountains and skiing professionally.
And what would possibly possess you to leave that life of luxury for this business?
I lost the bet.
All right, well, please make Jud welcome. Come on up, Jud. Cheer with us.
I recently learned that what makes somebody an expert is a plane ticket and a PowerPoint. And so I figured, but the problem with coming here is that there's a lot. First, my general manager's with me, so he's like, this guy's speaking about leadership. This guy's the worst leader in the world. And then I have lots of former business network associates that have been to my business and have critiqued our business. And so I think there's a lot of people that might call them bullcrap on the leadership. But Les asked me if I would do this, and I'll relate it to some of the leadership that I had the opportunity to do. About 10 years ago, or 50 pounds ago, I made a living climbing mountains, as I mentioned. And it was really cool. We had, I also hosted the largest outdoor radio show in the country for an NBC affiliate. We hosted the radio aired across the entire West United States. It was a lot of fun, and I got sick of being in the studio all the time on Saturdays and hosting this show. When it's awful talking about the outdoors when you're sitting in a chair inside of a concrete room. And so I made a deal. These satellite phones became popular. I made a deal with Global Star and worked it out to where they gave us 3 satellite phones for unlimited use, and it made it awesome so that I was able to go back out in the outdoors and host the radio show live from anywhere in the world. On this particular mountain, it was a winter ascent in a mountain range in Montana. We're here as I'm hosting the radio show early in the morning inside of our tent so I wouldn't freeze to death. Now, some people wonder, why did you get into climbing? Well, I got into climbing because other sports didn't work out so well for me. So, for instance, golf. I don't understand golf. I hate golf. I don't know if I can say that here. I probably just got myself kicked out. But I don't get it. I don't understand that something that people play better drunk and they call it a sport. And I don't get that. I also don't get why people play and this is the part I understand, is when people golf, they're more pissed off after they're done than they were when they started. And they pay money for this. And today, lots of money for this experience. Well, I would have never, I made a terrible mistake because I had this really cool job, climbing mountains, doing what I love, skiing all around the world. And then somehow, next thing I know, I'm sucking sewage out of people's houses for a living. And I still don't know what went wrong, other than I needed my only reason is I probably needed to keep up with my wife's spinning habits. And somehow I ended up in restoration trying to do that, not as lucrative as I might have thought. But here, I moved to Logan, Utah to buy this business. And I wouldn't have bought it also if I knew that you have to golf to be a business owner, because all your clients want to golf. So I'm being pestered all the time to go golfing. So here's Logan River Golf Course, and I finally got talked into going golfing. So I borrow a set of clubs, client's begging me to go, and this client, I kind of thought, this guy's kind of a dork. If I'm going to go golfing, this is the guy who won't be able to golf. And so it won't be that bad. I will suffer through this and be done, hopefully get some work out of this guy. So I get up, tear to the tee box, hold this hole number 1, and he hits the ball, it goes down to that fairway where it's supposed to go. And so I thought, well, I'll do the same. I played baseball all through high school and stuff. I thought, this can't be that rough. So I take back, I'm afraid to imitate a swing because then the golfers here will critique what I'm doing and know what I'm doing wrong. But I go to take a swing, I swing as hard as I can, and the ball goes in that pond. And I am ticked. That's kind of embarrassing. The guy kind of laughs, and the guy Ty, he was laughing at me, and I'm like, all right. So I put it, he goes, do it again. So I go, you have a golf, get down there. So I try to do it again, I hit it again, does the exact same thing, goes right back into that pond. And now I'm a little bit pissed off, okay, maybe a lot pissed off. As you'll find through this presentation, I'm pretty competitive. So I put another ball, he says, try it again, you can do this. I put it down again, I go back to swing, I'm focused on in baseball, stare at the ball, stare at the ball. I hit it, this time I'm really excited. You can't make this stuff up, what I'm telling you really happened. Swear on my life. This time it caught air. I'm like, yes, it's clearing the stupid pond at least. Behind those little bushes on the right-hand side is a concrete pump house. It hit that pump house and bounced into the water. So golf didn't work out for me. There's 3 people in this room that made me go golf with them about 5 years ago in Arizona, and I broke a window of a house that was behind me. And there's witnesses at that center table back there. I had to pay for that window. So golf's not my thing. So why did I climb? I'm good at suffering. And so in climbing, you've got to know how to suffer. Well, after putting on so much weight going into this dumb business, I set myself a goal the first year. Now, we went kind of crazy. It went from when I bought the company, it was a $1 million company. In 6 months, we became a $4 million company. All I did is work. That's all I did. And and when you work that much, you don't have time to eat, and when you do, you eat fast food. So I ate lots of fast food. I was sponsored by McDonald's for a while. And so here we are, and I provide outfits for all the guys in our community. It's awesome. You go around Logan, Utah, or in Idaho and Wyoming, and you'll see we have hundreds of these jerseys all over. But I thought I bought a road bike, and I'm going to lose the weight, get back in shape. And so I thought, what better motivation than sign up for the longest race in America called Loaded. It's Logan, Utah to Jackson, Wyoming, 207 miles. I said, that will force me. Well, the business continued to grow. I didn't train, I didn't have time to train, but I'm cheap. I'm Scottish. The only person I know cheaper than me is Les Cunningham. And I told him he's not cheap, he's frugal, which I still can't believe we're at Pebble Beach that Les set this up, but I'm cheap, so I thought I'm going to go, at least go get the t-shirt, and I'm just going to ride as far as I can ride. And I had a buddy that I recruited. I said, you got to follow me. I said, because when I cramp up and fall over, it would take me home. And so I get Preston, Idaho, 50 miles. I'm feeling pretty good. First off, I didn't tell you this. I bought 2 pair of cycling shorts because I needed that extra little pad to protect you. I needed 12 of them. 2 wasn't enough. There's something about breaking it in down there, and I just jumping on the bike didn't work. 14 hours later, I roll into Jackson, Wyoming. I think the guy that just did the presentation on his 50-year-old bike, I think he passed me with his horse. It was awful. One thing I learned about cycling is that the average cycler that wins the Tour de France weighs 140 pounds. So 240 pounds of spandex is, first of all, indecent exposure, also takes a long, long time to get anywhere. But unfortunately, I like the suffering. So a couple years later, I got talked into going to Italy with some guys, and I was going to ride the famous Giro d'Italia climbs. Now, the only reason I'm willing to do those climbs and be in last place the whole time is because on the way down, gravity's my friend. And so it was really fun to me. I love the feeling on a road bike going down these massive mountain passes in Italy. It feels like you're flying. I love that feeling skiing, and so I was there, and I'd actually done it a lot in the United States, just coming down these mountain passes as fast as I can, and the magic number I like to hit was 60 miles an hour, which is screaming fast on a tire that's less than an inch wide. And so I'm coming down this one time in Italy, I'm coming down these switchbacks, and I come around the corner, and I love that. Let's see how far I can lean into that corner without losing control. And then I come around the corner, I stand up as I'm going down and get fast as I can, and I get in that tuck position and see if I can hit 60. Well, after doing this down multiple switchbacks, my rim got so hot from that intense braking of the 240 pounds the bikes aren't made to hold. Coming around the corner, my rim got so hot it melted my tire in 2. They came at 40, I was going about 45 miles an hour coming around this corner. The tire and tube got wadded up in the brake calipers, and for about that quick, I heard my rim grinding on the asphalt. And then next thing I know, my face hit the handlebars, ripped my face open, tore my fingers apart. That hurt. In Italy, they don't give you pain medicine. They just scrub those puppies out. And then this one, that one hurt. Hey, look at my eyes. That's my butt. That hurt. For about 2 weeks, every morning I wake up, no matter how many bandages I had on there, it looked like I wet the bed, all the oozing coming out of that. And so cycling wasn't really my deal, but I looked great coming out of the hospital. There I am in Trento, Italy. That's how they sent me home. I was quite the attraction that day. Another sport I tried, basketball, that didn't work out for me. I'm getting at why I climb. People ask why I climb. Well, basketball, I played basketball at our church team. If you were good, you played on the high school team. If you were okay, you played on our church's A team. If you didn't know how to dribble a basketball, those of us that were football players and wrestlers, we played on the B team. And the B team, we never won a single game, but nobody wanted to play us. My buddy Carl, before every game, would say, all right, guys, you got 5 fouls, use them all. And we would put some dudes in the hurt closet. Nobody ever wanted to play us, and every single game, somebody got ejected on our team, and we were proud of that. So basketball didn't work out. So I ended up being a climber, because I could suffer. Now this is Jud before restoration. I was a little bit thinner, climbing was a lot easier. And so as you get heavier, I still had that passion to climb mountains, and my mom taught me if there's a will, there's a way. So, this is how Jud climbs mountains now. I bought me a Unimog, so I can still get up the mountains. And it actually works great for parades and everything else for our marketing events. I got this bad habit now of collecting some of these rare off-road trucks, but they're pretty fun. They climb a lot better than I ever did. Being a leader in climbing, had the opportunity to lead lots of expeditions around the world. There are several times that I nearly died. We're a little short on time, so I'm going to try and shorten up some of my presentation a little bit, and I won't go into a lot of details. But here in a slot canyon in southern Utah, we decided to do it. This was right after the Olympics. I was helping host some things for the Olympics, and I was sick and tired of the Olympics and all the media and stuff, and I wanted to get out of Dodge. So we went and did what was supposed to be a pretty mild slot canyon, longest slot canyon in the world. Ended up being an ice dam in there. My buddy and I got up to our neck in water. It's about 15 degrees outside, and we hiked 30 miles that day to get back to our cars and then back and into the hospital, where my friend Kevin, who was with me, spent a week in the hospital for frostbite. I had tingling in my legs. I was numb. We were numb from the thighs down. I had tingling in my legs for about a month. Kevin had it for over a year. Here's a canyon. I'm not very smart if you're not gathering this, but this canyon here is called Psychological Damage. The reason it got named that, after we started climbing a lot of mountains, there weren't many mountains left in the United States that hadn't been climbed. But there were some slot canyons down in southern Utah, northern Arizona, which are these canyons that carved by flash floods, that a lot of them had never been descended yet. So we started pushing and trying to find these ways down these slot canyons. A group of climbers got down to this psychological canyon and got stuck. They couldn't go up, they couldn't go back, they were stuck in there. The exit to this actually repels 360 feet into Lake Powell. They were stuck. They had a boat arranged to meet them that night. When they didn't show up, search and rescue got involved the next day. Search and rescue pulled them out of there. That night, though, it started to rain. You do not want to be in these in rain. That canyon will fill up sometimes with 30, 40 feet of water. They climbed up as high as they could and found a flake up on and threw it and slung it with their rope, ascended that flake, and that whole night, and then slept. I don't know, they didn't sleep at all. Hung in their harnesses all night as the water flash flooded underneath them. That half that group have never climbed to this day since, and that's why I got the name Psychological Damage. So what happens? My friend Steve calls me and says, Jud, there's a canyon that hasn't been done. It's supposed to be the gnarliest canyon. So of course, what I go, sign me up. I would never go back there again. We made it down it, did a first ascent. I don't know if anyone else has made it down since, but that was my life. Wasn't very smart back then, still not very smart. One of the other, I had an experience climbing Mount Moran in Wyoming, where I was ice climbing and it was a really, really hot day, unusually hot, and so the rocks in the ice started to melt. Some of them 3 feet wide started coming down past us. There was one time I was sitting there on the ice, both ice axes in, and this massive rock is broken loose as the sun beat against the ice and melted. It broke loose. We were halfway up several thousand feet of ice, and that rock came loose, and I heard it. And it was coming at me. I spun around my other ice axe to move out of the way, hit the ice behind me. It barely missed my head. It would have killed me. It would have been lights out. And a smaller rock hit my wrist and broke my wrist. And I still had, I don't know, another 1,000 feet to go. And that was miserable trying to get purchase with your ice axe into ice with a broken wrist. So I feel like I dodged several bullets in my time as a climbing career. And so now restoration doesn't seem like it's that much of a risk, so I thought. One of the mountains we climbed was a mountain called Aconcagua. It's almost 23,000 feet tall. The year that we climbed it, 6 climbers died. It's killed more people than Everest. And I wanted to climb Everest, but my in-laws and my wife, when I was engaged, made me promise, because I had sponsors begging me to climb these mountains. They would pay for everything. And at the time, Everest was $65,000 to climb. So that was a big deal when you're in your mid-20s to have somebody pay for that. And so we climbed it, and so I don't think she realized how deadly this mountain could be because of this weather that hits it. But only 30% of those that try it make it to the top. Now, I didn't win any awards as Husband of the Year this year. Here's my wife. That's our oldest son, Cole. He was 2. And she's 7 months pregnant, and I take off. So I pretty much took last place as the husband. You can tell by the look in her eyes and the tears that she wasn't very happy with me leaving. Here on Aconcagua, on high mountains, you burn 12,000 calories a day. That's equivalent to about 22 Big Macs, meaning you lose a lot of weight when you're on these mountains. You get bloody noses. Middle of the night, you'll wake up because the dry air and the altitude. You'll wake up choking on blood. And it's from the bloody noses. You're constantly battling bloody noses. You have no appetite, which is awful. That's what hurts a lot of climbers because of how many calories you burn. Your stomach doesn't feel like digesting anything, so nothing sounds good. And of course, the food you bring is terrible. 40% of your energy goes just to breathing. Once you get up about 20,000 feet, it's just one step forward, take a breath. Another step forward, take a breath. This is cool. This is up at Camp 1, looking back across the valley at the glaciers on Aconcagua. Right here, this is Camp 1. Base camp is down at the bottom of the glaciers up here. Then you have Camp 1, Camp 2. Right here, you might be able to see some tents. That's Camp 3. The problem with climbing big mountains is that I get stir crazy. I don't like sitting. Big mountains, you spend a lot of time trying to climatize. So you actually climb the mountain numerous times. You go up, because of how much gear you're bringing, you can't haul it all on one trip. So you bring it up, drop it at a camp, called climb high, sleep low. That's how you adjust altitude. Bring it up and come back down and sleep low. Next day, bring another pack up, sit there, then you camp there that night, and you keep kind of leapfrogging this thing. And then there's actually rest days in between where you're trying to help yourself acclimatize. You're in the same socks and the same underwear for about 3 weeks on this mountain. There's not enough right guard on the planet to take care of that odor. I think when your teammates would roll over in their sleeping bag and make their eyes water, wake you up in the middle of the night. It was awful. You had to burn most of your underwear when you get back. We have 60-pound packs as the average pack you're carrying on these type of expeditions. Now we thought this was pretty cool. We thought Mountain House, I can make fun of it now because they're not going to be sponsoring me anymore. But Mountain House gave us all our meals, all those freeze-dried meals you buy at outdoor stores. We thought this is awesome. Man, that's thousands of dollars of meals that we're getting for free. This is going to be great. Well, it's great for about 4 days. When you are starving, but yet you don't have an appetite, and you're eating these things, and the problem is at high altitude, you can't fly fuel on planes, so you can't bring isobutane that we have here in North America, so you have to bring empty fuel bottles and burn white gas. White gas doesn't get very hot at altitude, so it takes forever. The process of boiling water takes about 10 times longer than it would at, say, 10,000 feet. And so it never gets hot enough